Okay, got another little micro racer for you today. This is the Grasshopper 94, and I'm just going to run through the specs and everything on it. I'm not a technical person. There's guys out there that really know what they're talking about with the setups and all the figures and everything, and they can basically build them and do everything with them. That's just not me. I enjoy the flying, and I enjoy a little bit of dabbling, basically to plug it in, bind it to me transmitter and get out and fly. That's what I want from a quad. That's all I want to do. I'm not too interested in all the other bits and pieces, and so if that's what you're after, then we're going to learn together on this one. If you want all the techie stuff and all the real in-depth stuff, then there's other channels out there that would be really helpful. Okay, so it's like I say, Grasshopper 94, and it's a really smart looking quad, and it's got a slight sort of grasshoppery look if you squint and look from a very large distance away, I think. It feels pretty good construction to me. Everything is pretty well protected. You'd have a job getting in there to damage anything. The actual camera you can actually rotate, so depending on how quick you're going to get, you can actually rotate it. There's a couple of screws either side there that undo it, and the actual VTX is mounted on with a cable tie or zip tie just round this. It's either plastic or nylon. I'm thinking it's probably plastic there that actually tilts the whole unit on. It's carbon, everything's carbon fibre apart from that, and it's coming in at 1.5 millimeters on the main frame, and the actual base frame, yeah, it's coming in at the same as well. So it's 1.5 mil carbon fibre. You've got 1104 motors on there, and there's 7,500 kV. It's BL heli, and then you've got the D-Shot 600 as well. So it's all ready to really fly, and it's from what I can understand, D-Shot 600 is the best. It's got a Minicube F3 flight controller in there, and the actual VTX, like I was saying, is 600 TVL, and then it actually runs at 25 milliwatts, and it's a CMOS chip on it as well. So 2 sets of props, so you get 8 props, and then you got the screws as well to hold them on, and I'll pop them on in a minute. You get some prop guards, so if you want to fly indoors, you can pop them on. You do have to pop off the motors, so you basically have to take these screws out here, and then these screws won't reach far enough, so they give you a little pack of screws as well. And these are injection molded, I would say. These aren't actually 3D printed, which some of them are, so they actually got a proper injection molded feel to them. You've got a little battery standoff there that I think goes underneath. I can't really find anywhere that sort of explains it fully, and your battery goes in under there, sort of thing. So, and you get a bit of Velcro as well. I've already stuck that on just to have a play around with it. A few elastic bands, and away you go. On the web, this actually gives out that it's 550 milliamp hour, and it's 30C. I've got a 550C, so I'm looking forward to this. 50C should give me a little bit more kick as well, and it's definitely running out at 2S as well. Mine actually came with a FlySky receiver in there as well, so it's already, all I've got to do is just bind it up and quickly run it through Beta Flight to actually get it to work on my transmitter. And also has a really nice, it's got a buzzer and a seriously bright little LED there. I'll just pop those on so you can see. There we go. Like I say, that buzzer's really quite loud. So, and yeah, I quite like the buzzer's more important to me, I think, than the bright LED. But it's got them both, so it's really good. And that's the way it comes as well. I've had a few that I looked at before I got this one, and they don't come with a buzzer. And I think something like this, even in long grass, once it's dropped in, you'd have a heck of a job to find it. Okay, I'll pop the props on, and let's just see what the weight is. There we got. Just on 60, 61, and then if I pop the battery on the top of there, we're just at 90. So quite incredible, isn't it, the weight and the power this thing's going to produce. Okay, first go with it. I haven't actually screwed the props on. They're so tight and going on, I'm sure they won't need it. So we'll see how we go. Pretty good. So I'm going to start in stabilised mode, I think. We're just about to flick it into air. Let's see how we get on first, shall we? Whoa, that thing's got some go in it. Hey, very nice.
I think we can just go into air mode. Yeah, it stabilises nice. Okay, let's give it a go then, shall we? What's the worst that could possibly happen? Oh yeah. Whoa, gee whiz, this thing goes. That might not look that fast on the video, but gee whiz it is when you're in the up here. God, I'm having to sort of pitch it back all the time just to slow it down. I'm not used to that with the ELF, that's for sure. Gee, it turns nice as well. You don't get that sort of fallout that you get with the ELF. I've got a DYS ELF is my one that I usually fly. Oh, this is nice. I like this. That breakup's quite normal, the other side of the house. It's a very old, thick-walled house. So it's a good test for FPV. And you can just turn this thing on a tanner, I was going to say, but I don't suppose many many people remember what a tanner is. A dime. Yeah, really nice and controllable. I think I might have the beeper set too high actually, because oh well, I'm on 7.2, so yeah, definitely. Nice. Oh yeah, this thing flies really well, and its recovery is so different to the ELF. The ELF is when you actually, if you put it into a dive and then try and pull it back off like that, it'll just die on you. This one doesn't at all. Totally different flying experience, and much nicer, I think. Yeah, it's definitely none of the die that you get with the ELF. Actually trying to keep it slow, like I say, is the hardest bit. It just wants to go. Oh yeah, does it kick out as well? Happy little bunny. Yeah, nice. Oh, I like this. I don't know why I'm clutching my transmitter so close to the chest. Down to 7 volts. I wonder what we can do through the woods, because that is quite a tricky little area. Like I say, I'm just off on the pitch all the time. Yeah, that is really nice. Hey, we like. And it flips as well. No problem at all. That was quite a slow one, but it would do much better. I'm always a bit nervous around the house. Take a pane of glass out, just because I'm playing. Right, I think we better bring it in. That is so much fun. Yay, man. Whoa, that is cool. Oh yeah, she's getting really anxious about it now. Let's flip it back into stabilised mode. That is really good fun. I'm loving this. Out for a little line of sight flight. This thing is awesome. Perhaps I should have done this before I did the FPV one, but whoa! This thing really goes. So this is stabilised. I can say, wow. Gee whiz, that thing's cool. That's stabilised. That's acro. Nice. It's a lovely little fly. I like this sort of quad. I'm not so brilliant on the flipping and rolling. It's not really what I do at the moment, but it will be sometime, sure. So I tend to sort of overcompensate for it. but it'll get better, I'm sure. But I've seen on some of the other ones that it's sort of got the roll of death, and that it drops out of the sky. I honestly haven't had any problems with it. Whether or not I do it differently or don't do it properly, I really don't know. It's really, like I say, not really my sort of thing. And then of course we can pop it into horizon mode, which gives you, it'll almost sort of roll itself then. There we go, it does it nice and quick as well. So, oh, you can do it slow as well. Yeah, so that's pretty good. So fast or slow seems to be okay. So whether or not I just got a lucky one or whether the other guy didn't get a lucky one, I don't know. It's I actually prefer it in acro now. Ooh, didn't think I'd ever be saying that. Yeah, that actually feels better now. There you go, lovely big arcs of loops and things. Like I say, I don't seem to be able to make it sort of have this. Even if I do it fastish, it still doesn't make any odds. So I can't seem to make it die, sort of thing. Yep. Yeah, and that's absolutely fine. Whoa! That was operator error. Oh well. Now, one thing I have found with any of these little micros or anything like this is, yeah, there you go, it's absolutely mullered and covered in grass and everything. We get a lot of sort of damp grass this time of year, and it will make the beeper stop and the electronics will go a bit squirrely, or sometimes it won't bind. You wonder what's happening. This isn't just this one. This happens on a lot of my quads that get a little bit quite damp, actually. I put them in the airing cupboard of shame, it's known as, in the house. There's a little shelf there for me. It dries out all the electronics. I don't bother doing anything else for about an hour or so. Or overnight, and then everything comes alive when you bring it back out again. So I find that works really well. So just the way I do it. So yeah, you know, I love this sort of thing. Cool.
So what did I think of it? Well, you probably guessed already, and you'll pick it up from you know, my tone during the actual review and everything. I love it. It is really good fun, just awesome. I think it's, you know, amazing for what it is. It's had a few bashes, and there's absolutely no damage done to it at all. I don't even know in a high speed one whether it would. It just depends how they land, doesn't it, or what they catch. But I've had a few bumps and scratches, and no issues at all. Haven't even had to replace the props as yet, so really good. I've popped this on the bottom here. This is, you get a couple of these. I think that's where they go. There's no instructions with it, so you sort of got to get on with it yourself, basically. But I haven't flown it like this. I don't see any need for it, to be honest. I should just pop that back off and just have the battery underneath. In my environment that I fly in, I really don't see it. The beeper works really well, and the LED actually works very well. Having said, you know, I just need the beeper, you don't. The LED really does identify where it is. The beeper sort of gets you in roughly, gets you looking in that area, but the LED really does help you just identify where that spot is. So really good. Now, I've not been flying FPV for very long, and like I say, I'm not a techie guy, so I haven't changed anything in beta flights. I've just literally run it through on standard, and I found it flies really well. I'm also new to flying acro, and I found it good on that, and the fact you can switch between air, horizon, and also onto ordinary stabilized, brilliant. I thought it works really well. The only other thing I've flown in this sort of class is the DYS ELF, and they're not a patch on each other. I mean, this is a great learner beginner one for FPV, and again, you can fly stabilised or you can fly acro. I found it really good as a learner. I'm not sure straight in whether or not I would have been okay with this. I think I would have wound up crashing it so many times. It would have been ridiculous, because it just wants to go forward for some unknown reason, and that's actually good fun when you get into it, but when you first start, you're just pulling the pitch off all the time. The DYS ELF also, when it comes in, as I was explaining when I was flying, that as this one drops down and you sort of turn and then you want to flip it back out and put the power back on, you can do it with this, no problem at all. Didn't have one issue with it. With the DYS ELF, if you do that, it tends to sort of disappear into its own vortex sort of thing. It just dies on you, and then you're lucky if you can recover it. If you've got enough height, you can, but it's not brilliant. but it is a great beginner one. That's what I'm, the important thing to me was I had to start with something. This was a good starter. You can buy a little kit that I changed over on the DYS ELF, and I actually found this really good. This improves the performance, I think, takes the ducts off, and any bashes and things, basically the carbon fibre takes it out. And I put a link down in the description where you can get these from, and also I did a video on this, and I've reviewed the DYS ELF as well, so you can see whether that is for you or whether or not you want to go in for this one. And there's loads of these out on the market, and I'm actually going to review a few of them, I think, so I'm really getting into them, and they really are good fun. So hey, if you're after something like this, you want to fly acro, you want to have a load of fun and not cost yourself too much money, and it just goes in your pocket when you go home, yeah, this could well be the one for you.